sort of more with the spiritual side, and he was coming more with the like scientific side of it.
I get this. I get the science, though. I understand.
So when I bounced together, I thought it would be good to hear it bounce together because, and obviously, you're not going to agree fully on every single aspect of everything. It's not going to happen because it doesn't happen. Science never adds up with even common sense. Sometimes, you know what I mean.
Well,
so it's.
I see the world as a playground for us. We come down and we enjoy, we learn as spirits and souls of a body. So we come down here to do exactly this. So we come down to have different ideals and different views and opinions because, well, a picture paints 1,000 words, and 1,000 words paints a different picture. But then words put into different ways develops a different spell, develops a different image within the mind, and therefore creates a different reality to someone's perception. So when someone reads a book, if they imagine that book as they're reading the book, that creates a reality in their mind. And their story is slightly different to someone else's if they just read the book. But if 1,000 people read that book and 1,000 people get that book and they've got an image of that book, and they all tell that same story to 1,000 different people, then that once again, that becomes the truth because it's been told 1,000 times. And that is the saying. I mean, we look at the sayings, and sayings actually given to us to take the piss. It's mockery to a degree. Yeah. So we figure out, like, you can tell a lot by a man's shoes. Well, you can tell a lot by a man's shoes because it's his ego, and his head gone out, like I said. But his ego also tells you who he is. It changes his gait, it changes his back, it changes his arch of his foot, it changes the arch of his back, it changes the arch of his neck, and it changes the perception of life. Because if you've got a big heel and you're wearing Nikes, well, that means you're going to be looking more down, and we're not meant to be looking down, we're meant to be looking across. Just like women are empowered with 6-inch heels. Well, they're not empowered with 6-inch heels, they're actually disempowered because these heels, these 6-inch heels, they actually change the flex of the hip, and it actually narrows the birth canal, and that creates more of an issue for childbirth. And this becomes hereditary because, well, however we move and interact in life is what we pass on to our children, because we live to our environment. We create what is needed for our environment. If we're all we're mutating ourselves by doing these things, we're actually damaging our children because there's less of the areas for our children to grow in. But we're also damaging our children through childbirth because we have to give gas and air and C-sections and lumbar punctures and whatnot, epidurals. So we're actually damaging our women by empowering them and telling them they can be business women. And that was like, and just so you know, that was an operation in the 80s to empower business women and to get women to be business women so that there'd be less time at home with the children. And then once again, it created a separation within the family unit. And I mean, this is really, really deep. Just, I mean, the try and get us at the deepest, right down to cutting the umbilical cord when babies are born. Well, that's attached to the placenta, and the placenta's got the tree of life on it. It's actually the tree of life, and it's got a lot of goodness in there, including a lot of immune system. And then they cut you straight away, and they cut it out straight away because that's what they want. They want your child to be poor. They want your child to need them. And if they need them, then, well, it's like Stockholm syndrome, but on a mass scale. So our children then are getting soya milk instead of having the nipple, having breast milk. And cow's milk's not good for children, and neither is the powder milk. It actually messes with the soya, actually messes with their hormones, which actually turns them one way or the other with the hormone system. So they start to get feelings. I don't think cow's milk's
good for anyone, to be honest with you, is it?
No, it's not got a lot of parasites in. There's a lot of parasites in our food. But what I'm getting at here is they're after our children before our children are even able to be aware of anything. They're trying to get the nails and their teeth in before we get a chance to give them any sort of information, because we're born with an infinite amount of information with our pineal gland, our connection with consciousness, and that connection is disconnected as soon as they can, and they do that through fluoride and these injections that put metal into the mind, and metal in the mind's main creates mental health, because metal in the mind stops the synapses, and mental health is created because there's confusion in the mind, and when you got confusion, and when you get conned, where you in-conned, and fused is when you've fused both realities together to create confusion. So
there's just so much power in words, honestly. And this is another thing what actually I was saying to you on the phone the other day, which I think it's an important point. Yeah. Because I'm going to get Dean on a lot more on here to come on and like, because I just think he needs to get it out there, because this is the thing what people aren't analysing is the power in words and stuff. They're not breaking them down. They're not listening to them. But to hear you just breaking them, just dishing it off, you know what I mean, and just breaking them down. There's a lot of people in the chat there, like saying, like Roy said, Give this man a huge stage. Give this man a huge stage. He's saying it, and it's true. It's just because you can just flow with it, and it's so natural to you. In fact, for you only be woke up what? For a year, couple of years,
12 years, 12 months.
12 months. That's just see, man. All that was just naturally into you. You couldn't have learned all that in 12 months, man. There's no way.
Well, I've always been an observer. As a child, I was ADD, which means attention deficit disorder. Now, attention deficit disorder means you can't pay attention to bullshit systems. When you put into a room with a lot of children, someone telling you what to do, when to do it, and how to sit, and how to speak, and how to write, then you're put into an alien environment, and that's when you switch off, because people with more of a conscious, open-minded, reality or connection, they see the system for what it is. And when I was at school, I used to get asked questions, and whilst they're asking me these questions, I'm trying to figure out in my head what they wanted me to answer, because what I wanted to tell them was completely different. And because I knew it was wrong, because I was always wrong, to them, that is, there's no point answering them. So I just become a class clown, and I still learn quite a lot. And I still quite become intelligent enough to survive, even though I did some silly things, as we all do, we learn. It was never ever a thing to me to want to learn at school, because I just didn't feel right there.
I didn't either. I didn't feel right at school. I just didn't fit in. It wasn't right for us. I just, all of this, do as you're told, it was no good for me. I've never ever done as I'm told. Never ever. I'm generally good. Do you know what I mean? I'm generally good. So like, I don't need someone on my case to tell it to order us around. I don't need that. That will just piss us off. That's from a young age. You know what I mean? That's from a young age. And I feel like I carry, the thing is, I'm not a hypocrite, because I carry that around back with my own kids as well. You know what I mean? I'm the same, because the thing is, we're parenting, I think. Like, you know, like I was saying that to you on the phone the other day as well. Yeah. So like, we wake up in the morning, you just feel a bit shitty and all that, and you can just be a bit shitty if you want. Do you know what I mean? But kids wake up before school and they're feeling a bit shitty, and their mothers are going, "What's wrong with you? Come on! So you say you've got school in half an hour? Yeah. Why you go by year and a half for?" And I'm like thinking, hold on a minute, you know what I mean? And this is going on all over the place, and consistently. That's just so negative vibe, such a negative vibe. But it's just it's just so normalised that your kid cannot have just an off day. You know what I mean? Not allowed to just have an off day. So I practice what I preach, and you know, my boy wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. I go, I'll leave you for another half an hour, son, you know.
Me and my boy, we have a really good bond, and I used to take him to school a hell of a lot. We take him all over the place, but he's very intelligent, very intellectual. He doesn't really wake up in moods. He just wakes up a bit more sleepy than some kids. He's not a morning person, but we used to go to school in the morning, and he'd absolutely hate having to walk. But I just seen it after a little while instead, because I used to pity it. I think, oh guys, they always have the car. I always had a car. It got to a point where I was thinking, you know, I wish I had a car again. And after a while, I thought, do you know what? No, because I didn't have a car when I was younger, and I had to walk to school. And I had to walk to school, and I had to walk to my sister at school, and then walk back, and it was freezing cold. And I walked to school when I was about his age by myself. In fact, yeah, definitely 8 years. I think I must have about 6 years old, maybe 7 years old. And because back then you could do that. You know, you could do that. And our children now, they're thrown into the school system. So I mean, we've all had it. We've all get it for many years. And the indoctrination of the schooling system created by John D. Rockefeller was to create this same system that we've got now, and it's not changed over all these years. But it's created to get your children at the most active when they first wake up, because the brains have that time where it's gone into its different theta stages, and you know, all these different stages you go through your brainwave patterns throughout the night. And when that happens, your body's resting. But when you wake up, well, you should be ready to go and want to go, yeah. But your children, they have to go and sit in this classroom and sit still and be told what to do, and you can't do this and you can't do that.
It's madness.
It's actually torture, mate. It's actually torture with these children. Yeah, and we don't know it's torture, because we're actually altering their reality. Children should be heard and not seen, in the sense of we should be letting them go out and play in the fields, and do what they want to do, and enjoy it, and explore and learn for themselves in some ways, and not learn for themselves in others. But to say that a child should be seen and not heard is disgusting, because we want to silence our children. Why do we want to silence our children?
That's the kind of attitude that I don't like. You know, that's just a bit, and it's just normalised that. And what's that about? It's just like what? No, man.
Well, this leads on to the voice. What I'm going to get on here now. So we're only born with one thing. We're born with our voices. Yeah, your voice is your vibrational frequency of you. We've all got an individual vibrational frequency. None of them's got the same because there can't be two vibrational frequencies the same anyway. Because if that's the case, well, that would mean that they could mold together, could go through each other because they would be able to just bounce into each other and go through. Fact. So everyone's got a different voice. Even people that throw the voices that are never exactly the same, they can't. But they've got to be even just a little bit out, just a decibel, just a hertz, just a fraction. Now, we all are in tune to each other's voices. When you hear someone on the phone, it's sometimes muffled because that's what they do. It's digital. But when you hear someone in the street or in a pub or something, you hear that you know who they are straight away. So our children get into tune with the voice. Now, when we're muffling our voices and we're not seeing the lips move, first of all, two things are there. One, they're muffling the voice so you can't recognise your parents' voices, and vice versa. But also, it stops the child from learning how to move their lips because we're all learning through visual mostly because we use our eye because we are the eye. Everything is to do with the eye. If we don't see, then everything else is just sense, the other senses, and therefore reality is just a series of four senses of feeling with the skin. And therefore, nothing is actually here for you because you can't see it physically. But the eye is everything. So we learn through our eyesight. And these children now, we're not learning emotion through the face because we give emotion through our face. If I do that to you now, you know I'm happy. If I do that to you, you know I'm sad. That's an emotion. Yeah. Regardless if you think that's energy, that is energy because the light of my face has to go from A to B. And when it hits your eye, it's giving you the energy of me because I am a photon. I am energy. And the energy I'm giving off is the light. And the light, we are the light because we are the photons. We are the photons of the sun. We are the projection of the sun. So if I'm giving you a certain face, and I'm using less or more muscles, and I'm showing you more light, more, and I'm being so bright, and like people say vibrant, then what I'm doing is I'm giving you a lot of good energy. But if I'm being low and depressed and down and face it down, then I'm giving you no energy at all. I'm actually draining your energy because you're feeling sorry for me. When you feel sorry for someone, you drain your energy. So we're all just balls of energy bouncing around, giving each other energy. We're all just vampires, energy vampires. Some give and some take, and some they're mellow and they're zen and they don't give nothing away at all. But children need to learn through facial expressions, and right now it's causing more social autism. That's why these children now are starting to buy these autistic fucking colour toys. Now that there's a pandemic in itself, but we don't see that because, well, we're too busy with the narratives, too busy with the TV telling us what the fuck is and what the fuck isn't. And that's not good because the TV is literally there as a weapon. It's a weapon for the mind because if you look at the word entertainment, well, you go into, don't you? To enter something, to be engulfed, to be endowed by, endowed in. Then you got tame, which means taint, and then you got ment, which means mind, just like government, mind control, govern, control, mind. So these words are very, very, very important because people are speaking words and they don't understand the words they're speaking, and they start to give out bad karmic energies through vibration of your voice. Now, spellings, yeah, like I said before, when you're smudging with your left hand, that's why I don't want children to write with the left hand at school because the left hand's creative. It's the subconscious. That's why left-handed people are more creative. That's why they're better with paintings and such. And ambidextrous people are also quite skillful because they've got both sides of the synapses connected. And like say with boxers, well, we're told at school mainly to go right-handed because we don't want to be unneat. We want to be tidy, and we don't want to be bad writers because normally you're writing left to right with your right hand. It's easier. You're writing left to right with your left hand. You smudge your writing, therefore you're smudging your spellings, and you're getting rid of them negative spellings because all the spellings they're giving us are all negative because we speak in English. So they create the right-handed man, and the right-handed man is more aggressive. But you see, a boxer uses his left hand a lot to create and control and to find range and perception. To change the pace of the fight in some ways. So what happens there is like brushing your teeth with the left hand, or doing other things with your left hand, maybe, I don't know, firing a gun. And what's happening with that is you're connecting the synapses because you're starting to concentrate more on this side, which is controlled by this side. So because you're doing that, you're having to control yourself, and you're having to put more effort in, and therefore you're building that connection. And that means that connection is now connecting to the other side and giving you more of an idea of the world because you see things differently. Your perception of life is different, and you start to connect the dots, so to speak, the things that you've observed in the past and the things that you've seen coming in the future. They start to all make sense, and that's what That's why you find a lot of boxers and are actually switched on right now. A lot of them are taking the jab, and they're finding that you find that they're a bit more open minded than most.
Dean, there's a couple of questions that I've just missed in the chat, just as I've been going. Just a couple of I'm just going to pop it up on the screen and just where our names are. Dean, have you ever boxed for Lambton Street?
No, I never heard of it. But
that's that. No, so there we go.
Yeah, I do believe in parallel universes. Every thought that we think creates a parallel universe. Everything that could ever happen would ever happen. If I was walking down the road now and I seen an egg, I could step over it, step round it. I could fall on it. All the imaginable things I could do could be imagined in the mind. If it can be imagined in the mind, then it could happen, and therefore it has happened because, well, I've imagined it, and nothing goes into your head without it being possible, and everything's possible because there's nothing new under the sun. The sun's seen everything. We've had a lot of years on this planet as souls, and there's not many things we don't know. We just keep learning emotion because we knew everything when we come down from the Tower of Babel, I would say, and we all come down like babbling idiots, and we got taught these spellings to create the illusions that we live in now. So we've seen everything, we've done everything, we know everything, but we had to learn emotion so we could control emotion. We can control emotion, we can control the energy that we're creating and the energy we're destroying instead of being so neglective with it.
Bang on. I think that answers the question perfectly. Just seeing if there's anything else before we move on, mate. School system goes back to the... I can't even say that word.
Yeah, okay. Let me tell you this, right. So, like a school of fish, we are consciousness. We are in the water.
Anyway, we're there. I'll go on. It wanted to get soldiers to kill without thinking about the moral consequences, so introduced outcome-based learning instead of teaching them the trivium. Critical thinking.
Soldier stands for soldier soul or soldier. You know, soldier, your man, or sold. Whatever it is you're selling, it's soldier. Soldier soul for death. You know,
the book of Celestial Prophecy was a good intro to thinking about energy vampires. Sex education is going to ripe here. Sex education is going to normalise paedophilia.
Yep, LGBT plus the P. Now, I'm explaining how they get our children to be more.
Touch on that. That subject. We'll go there.
When children go to school for the very first time, and basically our imaginations are taken away from us because if we get it shown on a TV, then imagination becomes non-existent. Because if I ask you to imagine something now, it's hard to imagine something that's never been seen and never been done because it's all been shown to you already. Which basically means that they're giving you limited limitations of what you could possibly do with your life because you believe that you can't achieve anything because it put doubt put upon your ears. So they actually put this doubt upon our ears by giving these images. And some children do aspire and do really well because they believe they can, but a lot of children don't believe they can because they're given this doubt and it's put upon them at school. So the schooling system, when children first go to school and they see this gay, obviously, like I said before, and this just so you know, this is me not attacking these people that believe that they are this or they do like the opposite of the same sex, or that their emotion isn't their emotion because their emotion is that, but it's being flipped. So they do feel that. So I'm not saying that it's wrong because this was always going to happen. This is fate. This was part of the plan. So these people that took the jab and these people that do the things they do, which are sinful, they was always going to do because that was their lessons to learn. So now soulless players, the ones that take the jab are soulless players. So these children then, they go to school, they see the gay, they see about this rainbow. This rainbow now is the most peaceful symbol of the world because it's our spectrum of light we get to see. It's our reality. It's created by the sun and it's given to us so we can create it and we can see what we've got. And all light is frequency, and frequency is energy and vibration. So light is just the same speed as sound. And I'll go into that. Someone wants to ask me the question a bit, why do I think that? And why do I believe that? So this rainbow then is a peaceful symbol, but it's then put with the LGBT. So now the peaceful symbol in the mind of the people that subconsciously know that this peaceful symbol now is now attached to being gay, which is happy. So I want to be gay. So I want to be happy and peaceful. So now I want to be happy and peaceful. But then we've got to be equal because equality means we've all got to be equal. And we can't be equal because no one's the same shine, silhouette, don't have the same accents, don't have the same voice, don't have the same fingerprints, don't have the same eyes. No one's got the same eyes or fingerprints in the whole world. And there's 7.8 billion people, apparently. So if that's the case,
allegedly.
That's the case, allegedly. So how can there be 20? How can there be Sorry, mate, that's my fault. Then. How can there be? How can there be equality? Well, we just got to accept that we're not all equal in the sense of our looks and our personalities, because that's just not possible. Then they want diversity, and diversity means we accept everything, because we've got to be diverse in saying, well, I accept that. We've got to be tolerant, and we're becoming that tolerant that we'll accept rape, paedophilia, and murder, and that's what they're trying to get us to do, and accept that now, because like I said, we're going from heaven to hell. It will be flipped, and people will say, "Well, that's right," and they're trying to do that now, aren't they, with the paedophilia?
They're trying
it's
to
actually sexual orientation.
Massively.
So when children's autopilot switches on at 6, 7 year old, when they've been in their the learning period, the absorption of information, because they record everything they see and hear in the first 6 years. Even if they hear it on TV, it might not have to be in the same room. They can hear it. It's happened. It's a vibration, and they're absorbing it. Even if it's just an emotional outbreak of a fight between you and your missus, it's affecting them. So it's got to the point where now children, when they're 7 year old, they're flipped on the autopilot, and everything they've been taught in school at an early age, and these images they've seen around on TV, these swirls and these butterflies, all these things they use as symbolism, all creates this narrative in the child's mind that it's right to be, tolerant. It's right to be, and I mean tolerant of everything. I'm not saying we should be tolerant of everything. We should be tolerant of certain things, and other things we shouldn't be tolerant of. But I would say that it creates this image in the child's mind that, well, they want to be happy and peaceful, and they want to accept everything, and they want to be equal, and that's just not life. You can't do that. This is never going to happen, not fully like they want it to, but it's trying to go that way, and they're trying to get us to be that way. And they're doing it for our children, because they go for the seed, and if you can get to the seed before innocence is taken away, then you're already starting to take innocence away, because it's inner sense that they're after. It's your sixth sense and your five senses, and the first sense they took is a sixth sense, and now they're after the other senses within the seed. So they don't want us to produce, they don't want us to procreate, they want to sterilize us all, and they want to procreate for us. And if it's not done through love, then it's got no emotion, and it means it's dead cold and emotionless and senseless. And if it's senseless, it loses its fucking soul, because it's got no senses, it's got no sense.
Oh, brother, just we'll move on to the child abuse stuff as well. Guys, my website is going along the bottom of the screen there. Online, I know a lot of parents. I don't let my children go online just roaming by themselves, to be fair, but I know some parents do, so it's up to you. I can't tell you how to bring your kids up. But what I can do is try and advise you how to keep them safe. Now, there's plenty information on my website on what to look out for, where to look out for, what's going on, where do online predators look for victims, how to prevent my child from coming into danger. Do you check your child's devices regularly? Everybody should be doing that all of the time, consistently. It shouldn't just be something that you're just leaving your children with their devices upstairs, because this is the thing what we're on about here, but Smudger was bang on what he was saying before. It's not just the fact that these people's minds are being warped as well. Children's minds are also being warped. Children now are, little kids, they're trying to act like adults. They're teenagers. They're trying, it's just, I mean, it's just ridiculous what's going on right now, and how they're being pushed from basically babies. You don't really get that baby stage no more. Toddler stage is just you're just a baby, and then that's it. It's a little girl in a fancy little dress and all that, and that's it, pushed out. And it's sickening to watch, to be fair, because this is the upbringing of our the next best thing, that's the next people that's coming through, the great generations, and I can't believe what they're doing to our children. It's just bastards.
Weak people create weak times, man. Weak children create weak people create weak times, don't they?
That's it, yeah.
Just one on the TV. I just want to inform people of an experience I had. So I did some meditation one night when I first awoke, when I first started to meditate, and it was a pretty good meditation. And I kind of felt connected, and I watched the TV. And just so you know, I had a bit of RSO, a bit of cannabis oil. It doesn't send me. Well, I had one experience. I'll experience with some people one day if they want. I'm actually writing a book, so it'll be in there. But I was watching TV with my boy whilst watching Conor McGregor on my phone. And while I'm watching Conor McGregor, I'm feeling pretty good. has anyone ever been stoned on here? I don't smoke it. I eat it. And when I eat it, it's good for the endocannabinoid system. It helps regenerate your body and open your mind. So what had happened is I was watching Conor McGregor and I felt great because, well, I'm watching fighting and I'm a fighter. And my little boy's watching Turbo, and whilst he's watching Turbo, he's having a giggle and that. And I was trying to catch up with his training, with Conor McGregor's training. So I was seeing my little boy laughing at a certain part. I looked over at the screen. And as soon as I looked over at the screen, I felt like the screen was bullying me. I felt like I was getting kicked in the gut. I felt like I was back in school and someone was trying to, push me around. And I looked back at my phone straight away. And as soon as I looked at my phone, I felt great again. I thought, that's a bit strange. So me being inquisitive, thinking, what the fuck was that feeling then? I looked back at the TV and straight away, I felt like it was trying to keep me
negative vibe again.
Yeah. So it was like a flash frequency that was hitting my mind at a subconscious level, and it was creating an emotion that I wasn't feeling. So I looked back at my phone again, and straight away, as I imagined, I felt good again. Because obviously one excites and one depresses, one makes you feel shit. Now there's actually a patent out there that changes the frequency of your TV or the flash frequencies and actually enters your mind. And your mind is so much of an intricate computer. It's a very, very strong computer. Probably I think it's the best computer that's ever been created. So that's why they're trying to hijack it, obviously. So what's happened is I realised what was going on, and I kind of started to figure out, putting the pieces together, and I realised that the five senses have been excited by the reality of things, but the subconscious is being affected differently. It's changing the feeling. So when children go to school, if they're getting laughed at, because laughter is the thing that actually changes their mood in the film or in the animation of Disney, NASA, the broadcasting television, what they're doing is they're actually creating a false feeling to the child to associate that laughter with a feeling of being bullied. So our children are now going to school and they're having a laugh with their mates, and they're starting to feel bullied because it's maybe pointed at them. And they should just be laughing back and saying, okay, that was funny, yeah, I fell over or whatever they did. Now they're going to the teacher and saying, I'm being bullied, going home and feeling depressed and anxious about going to school next day. And this is creating a shift in moods, and it creates mood swings, and that's why they're on computer games for so long. They get off and they're in the mood swings there straight away, because what they're seeing and what they're playing on with their five senses is creating the Eve, because this is the Adam. The five senses the Adam, and the six senses the Eve. That's the creative side. The Bible's about basically the biology of things, the principle of things, the reality of things, good, bad, principles, morals. It teaches you all that stuff, yeah. And a lot of other books teach you the same as well. I'm not detracting from any other religions, because I don't believe in all religions, and I believe in all religions. They're all given to us. So our children now, they're being associated with these different feelings because, well, they want to flip everything on its head. They want people to be depressed and on these drugs to keep their emotions at bay so they can control them.
Bang on, brother. You know what? It's I just feel like on such a spiritual level, I feel like this is where people need to be getting at. We need to be like bouncing off each other. We need to be connecting with each other. And I think the thing is, there's people on different sort of frequencies as well as we're not different frequencies. They resonate at different frequencies. So you need to connect with the people that you connect with. I feel like around these movements as well, people aren't connecting with the right people, and it's creating loads of different. That's why there's loads of fallouts in the group, like that WhatsApp group that you've got. The people in there, it just like sort of resonates together, doesn't it? It just connects together so well, and it just works. So that's what people need to start doing, is focusing the time and that energy to stuff where it's worth that energy, not giving all your positive energy to something very negative constantly. Just like what you're saying there about children and everything, it's just exactly the same with us. So, go ahead.
It's good, man. I'm just going to say, where attention goes, energy flows. Because what you're paying attention to is what you're giving energy to. And what you see is what you become. What you speak is what you become. And what you hear is what you become, until you tell yourself who you are. Because when someone tells you are 1,000 times or less, depending on what sort of will you've got, what sort of sterling mind or character you are, you will start to believe that thing. That's when you start to get depressed. When someone's saying who you are for so many times, and you don't tell yourself in the mirror, look, I'm a good man, I'm good this, I've done that, and analyse what you've done in the past. think of things and tell your stories. And when you're telling your stories, understand when you're telling people these stories of what you've done and where you've been and how you've lived your life. Whilst you're doing this thing, you can actually analyze what you've done right or wrong, because there's certain things you don't want to tell people and certain things you do, and that's you judging yourself. And if you're judging yourself, don't judge others, because you can only judge yourself. No one should be judging you. You've done your path.
Exactly.
You're where you are. You're who you are because of the things you've done. And if you feel you're happy with who you are today, then what the fuck does it matter what you've done? As long as you know you can live with yourself, and you can sleep at night, and you feel like you've done well. And if you've got any regrets, like I said, you haven't learned from it, then you're going to keep learning them same things over and over again until you've got them right.
This is what's happening, though. People are just doing this over and over and over again, and they're doing the same things. Oh, I regretted that. Oh, it's just back to the same thing over and over. It's the same way everyone. Do you know these people that like go out, drink, have a bit sniff on the weekend and stuff? That used to be me. I used to love it. I used to be a party animal. I used to take E's and everything. I used to gobble them for fun. I did. I was a party animal. I used to jumping around, sweating my face off. I used to be like a prick, I did, honestly. But the thing is, all these people that go on about, every week in, week out, they're constantly doing it. Oh, never again. Oh, can't I be bothered? Never again. Bringing that negative energy to themselves. No, I'm never going to do that again. And the next weekend, they're back at it again, straight away. Or not even that, halfway through the week even. Tell you what happened with me. One day I woke up and I went, I'm never doing this again. Never doing this again. And that was it. I've never been drunk ever again in my life. And that's 7 years ago now. No, 8 years ago now. 8 years ago. I've never been drunk in 8 years because I just, that one day, I just realised, I thought, this is what's dragging me down here. It's giving us such a negative vibe. And I thought, no, I'm going to practice what I actually preach here and put it into play. And I actually done it. And it's the best decision I made in my life is to cut that bad toxin from my body, namely alcohol. That was the best thing I ever cut from my body, 100%. And I think it's the most dangerous, the most hangers. It's rotten. It totally stimulates your full mind into a toxin.
I'll elaborate on that for you, brother. So, alcohol was a deity, a devil. So they've got alcohol, then you've got spirits and booze. Well, obviously, once again, there's a lot of people on here who will know that, but what they maybe won't understand is, and then maybe some of them will, but what is your DNA, your blood, your deoxyribonucleic acid is your messenger from God. It's you, it's your connection, it's your spiritual soul, it's your ancestral past, it's got traumas in there, it's got all sorts in there. They won't ever show you what DNA really is. But when you put alcohol in there, which is the spirit, which is the booze, it goes into the bloodstream and it goes through the liver. And what is the liver? Well, that's what helps you live, because it cleans your blood. And when it cleans your blood, well, it's working, but you can only put so much shit through it before you kill yourself. However, live backwards is evil. And once again, it gets rid of the evil in the body. But when you've lived, it's the devil backwards. And that's when you've had all your toxins, you've had all your fun, you've had all your sins. And that's when you've died. That's when the devil's got you, when you've lived. And that's why it's all backwards and upside down and back to front. That's why you got Divock and COVID. That's why you got all these other words like responsibility, your ability to respond. It's not your responsibility for anything. In fact, your responsibility is just to respond correctly instead of reacting, because when you react, you reenact what they want you to give. And when you give that energy, you're giving them what they want. So don't give them what you want, and just spiritually tell them to fuck off by responding.
Yes, fantastic. Right, Bubba, I think what we're going to do, I think we're going to wrap it up there. And I think what we'll do is we'll get you back on, because what I want to do is I want to do one about I want to go through a few fights and go through that sort of stuff. I want to do that because I think that's a nice little thing for you. I also put it out to people. So to use guys, and that's in the chat room. What topics would you like to hear? What would you like to hear? What do you want to learn about? What would you like to hear about?
Talk about anything. I'll talk about.
Yeah, I'm the same sort of as well. I can hold a conversation on anything. I'm not so in depth and some with frequencies and stuff like that. Like I'm not. I can hold a conversation. This is what I'm saying. This is what I like doing. I like speaking to people that I can learn off as well and bounce off each other. It's great.
Actually, you're not learning. You're just resonating, because I'm just helping you remember. I'm just helping you remember, because we all know we're just helping open up our minds again, so we can start to reenact. Also, we can start to act, responsibly and have the ability to react responsibly towards a goal together, instead of. Because all we're doing right now is we're still bickering who's right and who's wrong, and we're still doing the same thing we've been doing for thousands of years, but it's just moved from that to spirituality. And people now saying, to be honest with you, whatever practices you decide to practice, as long as it's safe, as long as it's fair, as long as you're not hurting someone, then you practice your spiritual journey. You do whatever it is you feel it's right. As long
Yeah,
as
it's
you're not hurting
yours,
someone,
isn't it? No one's is the same. It's yours.
because that's
it.
your religion. Because I mean, we're not all the same. There's people out there that've got other sorts of sixth senses. They've got other abilities. I mean, I've spoken to people all over the place now that tell me all sorts of things. So don't expect that just because we're all coming together to
That's my
understand the
religion
same
for the
things.
next 3 months.
don't think that because we're all coming together to understand the same things and to understand and overstand the same things, just understand and understand that we're coming together to be on the right path, a positive path, not a negative path, and one that's not going to destroy us, but actually help us prosper and procreate and create together as co-creators instead of codependent people that don't really gain anything from the relationships, from the friendships, from the family, because we're not actually meant to be family together. Some families are breaking up because they're not meant to be together.
Yeah.
You know, this is the end of days, and therefore things that will be will meant to be, and those that weren't meant to be won't be, and therefore accept it for what it is, and whatever happens has already happened, so you can't change it. Don't whinge about it. Move on and look forward. Don't look backwards.
Fantastic. And I think that was a mic drop.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you so much for coming on, Smudger. Absolute diamond. Pleasure to have you. And yeah, we'll get you back on in a couple of weeks.
Whenever you want, mate. Just give me a shout. Yeah. Just send me a list and we'll go. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Good night. God bless. Be safe.
Take care. God bless you, mate. Take care, mate. Thank you so much. And there we are. There's Smudger. Absolutely fantastic lad. I only started speaking to Smudger last week properly, and yeah, just connected so well with him and that, and I just thought straight away, no, what, you'd be a fantastic guest to get on. You just speak so well, and I think like people think with these bare knuckle boxers and that, they just think that it's Jack the lads and that. No, there's some very, very spiritually open-minded, knowledgeable guys in the bare knuckle boxing community. So, and I've come across a good few of them. So yeah, Smudger's just what a diamond. One of the best genuine people you will ever come across, guys. Exactly what you've just seen there. That's just what you get of him. But anyway, yeah, guys, I'm just going to leave you with a quick little video before I go, exposing little clips of what's to come. In detail, all of these articles. I'm going to be speaking to people who are involved in the cases. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot coming up. So God bless you all. Thank you so much. Oh, Spiafro, I'll tell you what, I'll do a no comment interview on that question. Take care, guys. Thank you so much. Truth will prevail. Justice will be done.